Welcome, everyone, to the Tonya Hofmann's Fabulous TV Show. This is Tonya Hofmann, and this is my Fabulous TV Show. And I have incredibly fabulous guests, like today's guest star, Miss Jackie Lapan. Hey, Jackie, how are you?
Hi, Tonya. I'm so delighted to be here.
Yay! So she's going to talk all about it. You know, we're kind of kindred spirits. We're both in the speaking world. We both love helping speakers. If you haven't checked out the website, what are you waiting for? It's Public Speakers with an S, Association, all spelled out.com. I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speaker Association. And it's all about helping you market yourself, get your name out there, get your face known so that you can go out and change lives. That's what it's really all about. And we have a huge special running right now through the end of 2016. So take advantage of the early bird for our Public Speakers Conference, June 24th and 25th in Las Vegas. So we're winding up the dates and everything and solidifying the golden nugget. So we're going to have a blast, but you can come for free. That's right. So if you go and you put free conference 2017 when you sign up for the Public Speakers Association membership at the featured speakers level, because that's really where everyone jumps in at, then you'll get a free ticket to the conference. So do that. Free conference 2017. All right. All righty. So let's get into it today. Oh my gosh. So Jackie is just so adorable. And everyone that I ever talk to who knows her is like, oh my gosh, Jackie is amazing. So Jackie, tell us about how fabulous you are.
Well, I work in the field that I serve transformational speakers, people who have a message of empowerment or changing us or changing the world in a positive framework. And that could be finding a new business that you love. It could be spirituality. It could be personal growth, whatever it is that empowers and inspires people. And I work with those kinds of transformational speakers, authors, leaders all over the country. And I've been doing that about 10 years. And before that, I was one of the world's leading publicists in sports and entertainment and cable television. I launched the worldwide poker phenomenon. So that may be on my epitaph, I think.
That's cool.
Today, you know, I just really commit to the people that I love who are in my heart. And that's really the fun part. So many of them are speakers, and part of what I've done for years is to do radio media tours where I introduce authors to 3,000 personal growth radio shows. But they kept asking, can you book me for speaking engagements? So I decided to instead develop resources and ways that they can get booked themselves. Rather than me booking them, we developed something called Speakertunity, where I can book, where I can give them the resources and the contacts where they can do it themselves. So that's how I got into this world. I'm actually an author myself. I wrote 2 books in personal growth, and the last one was the best spiritual book at the International New Age Trade Show. But now it's really fun because I not only am a messenger of my message, I'm a messenger of other people's messages. So that's where it really gets to be fun.
Right. I know when I meet people, one of the most exciting things I get to do is listen to their story, because it just blows me away every time.
Well, most people would never know that I actually started out life as one of the first women sports writers in America.
Wow.
And
I didn't know that.
yeah, I was at the Detroit Free Press. I wrote for the front pages of the LA Times. I was at the Associated Press and at the Washington Post before I was 22 years old.
Wow, that must be a story right there.
Oh, yeah, it could. I got locked in ballparks. I made national television. It was a lot of fun.
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, I'm sure you have like a crazy story of trying to get the story or something, right?
I do. I was in Baltimore trying to get Reggie Jackson to come out and talk to me at the end of the game, but everybody else can go in and talk to him. I couldn't. So I ended up, by the time I actually got to him and started to write my story, and I turned around and all the lights were out, I was the only person in the ballpark in Baltimore.
Oh my gosh. I know, it's so crazy to think about how much things have changed, for women, for sports. I mean, that in itself, right? And then you look at speaking world and how much that's changed. And what I've always thought was curious, how people want everything to stay the same. I'm like, nah, I like all this movement going on, right?
Well, and you know, when you start embracing change, that's when things really rev up for you. And the more you resist it, the more likely you are to run into roadblocks. And I myself am one of those people that have challenge with change, but man, we have had to adjust and move and follow, you know, where things go. In fact, I've reinvented myself probably a half a dozen times. I follow where the business takes me. Where's the need? Who's calling to us? What are they saying that they want? And so then I move in that direction. And if you don't do that, that's when you get stagnant and your business starts to freeze.
Yeah, I love that. You know, and when you start really looking, because you talk about, you know, transformational speakers and all, I mean, that's one of the things that really people are looking for. They want people that have kind of a different viewpoint of the world and a different way of, you know, looking at old things that, you know, sales and leadership and all of those kind of things. Don't you find that?
Well, I think everybody is looking for a leg up in the world. You know, they're looking at, well, where am I stymied? Why am I not happy? How can I make more money because, you know, I'm stuck in this place. And so they're looking for people who guide them. They're looking for people who've been there, done that, and who can provide the resources, the knowledge, the wisdom to take them out of where they are into the next level and where they want to go. And that's when they look to speakers. Speakers, whether they're transformational or not, are there to provide a way up the ladder. And transformational speakers really touch the heart much of the time as well as the pocketbook. And so, you know, I believe that there is a real need for people who to step out and follow their own wisdom, to teach others, you know, people who say, well, I'm afraid of getting off the corporate bandwagon. But the truth of the matter is, if you have a knowledge and wisdom and guidance that you can offer others, and you have the entrepreneurial spirit, you really should be out there speaking to try to help other people and to serve your own needs too.
I know, it's so much fun, you know, and I'm out running around and speaking everywhere and everything. And just like the other day, I was talking to this group, and I don't usually talk about my husband who had a stroke a couple of years ago. But for whatever reason, you know, I'm kind of intuitive, so I was called to say something. And a lady had just been kind of going through that herself. And I gave her some kind of insight of what we've done to improve things. You know, we found a hugely incredible probiotic chocolate that helped him with his mind. Because, you know, a lot of times short-term memory goes. Don't we all? But, you know. So you could just find that opportunities to help somebody that day. You know, it's incredible that we can actually change lives. And that, I think, is the really exciting part about being a speaker, is that you have the real opportunity and the platform in order to do it.
Well, and the really exciting thing is when you see the light bulb go on, people light up, and all of a sudden you can just see in them that they get it, that they see themselves the pathway. And that's, you know, that's so really gratifying. It's just, it makes it all worthwhile. And what's really exciting is that you begin to develop fans, people who want to follow you, people who want to learn from you. They want more from you. And that's why speaking is such a powerful way to, the pathway to take in life.
I know, it's really weird when, you know, when you hit that kind of point in your life and someone recognizes you, right? So I was at Starbucks and a lady actually stood me up. I drove through traffic and everything. And so I was sitting there and I was working because, you know, I had time now. And the guy was sitting next to me. He had this great book sitting in front of him. I'm like, oh, are you an author? He's like, no, I'm meeting the author. And we just start talking, and I said he was interested in writing a book. I said I could connect him to my publisher, and it just kind of went on. And then all of a sudden he looks at me, because we were kind of sitting side by side. He kind of really looked at me. He goes, oh my gosh, are you Tonya Hofmann? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I just read your book. I mean, he goes, how did that happen? That we're sitting in Starbucks and I met this person who read my book that I had never met before, you know? And that's kind of those kind of mind-blowing things that you have that kind of connection power, you know?
Absolutely. And I've had my very own moment just like that. I was sitting in a restaurant in Malibu, and the young man who was waiting on me came up and looked at my book and said, "Oh, I just finished that book. It's so fantastic." And the woman I was with said, "Well, that's the author." And I'm telling you that he was just over the moon. And I was so touched. I mean, I've sold for maybe 4,000 copies of this book around the world, and this was one of the people who owned it.
Yeah, you know, and I think that's the hardest thing for people nowadays. You know, when I used to own retail stores in Houston, and we had science and nature retail stores, when someone walked in, I pretty much knew that they were kind of curious or that they wanted something. But now with the internet, we really don't see who buys a lot of our stuff or who's watching our videos or watching these shows, right? And so when you do meet somebody kind of randomly and they do recognize you, you have to remember that there's just people out there now. You know, it's a kind of a different world.
It's so true, but we're here to serve, and when we put out our vibration, people come to us, and you know, those that resonate with us will align with us, and so that's the fun part of being a speaker.
Yes.
Lots of fun. I'm on the road for the next 8 weekends, actually talking about Speakertunity. So for me, that's a real joy, you know, because I know it's going to change people's lives.
I know, right? Isn't that the most exciting part? Is when you know, I'm sitting there and then you see this whole group of people, and it could be from 8 people to 2,000, right? It doesn't really matter. I actually like smaller groups, but you know, you get to see their eyes, and that those moments, like you were talking about, was like that little light bulb that goes off, and you're like, oh, they just got it.
Well, you know, and there's such a fallacy about, you know, opportunities to speak to enroll as opposed to paid engagements. People think that unless they're getting paid, that or a paid keynoter, then they're not, you know, they're not successful as a speaker. But the truth is, if you have a great offer and you offer it well, and you're with the aligned and right crowd, you can actually make more money than you can if you are actually doing a paid engagement. And you're going to build longer term relationships with people that are going to be much more lucrative over the life of the relationship. So I'm a big believer in speak to enroll. And, you know, we offer a lot of those with Speakertunity, just because, you know, it's the way in for people. And especially if they're not at that level that they're getting $30,000 or $10,000 or $15,000 a keynote. So,
exactly. You know. Well, and what I always tell people, because they're like, well, I want to be a paid speaker. I want someone just to pay me. I'm like, really? Because all of the big speakers out there, they're not just waiting for someone to pay them. They're making all of their money really on the back end. You know, so people are like, I would be like Tony Robbins. Well, do you realize how much he sells in coaching and books and all of these things? So it's kind of that mindset, you know, between an employee mindset and an entrepreneurial one, you know.
And I know a lot of the big speakers that will speak for free.
Oh, yeah.
Because they know that this is a way to get people into their bigger events.
Oh, yeah. I had Les Brown come to my first event. I didn't pay him a dime. He paid all of his travel expenses and everything. And then he was able to sell at the end. So, yeah, I mean, who doesn't do that anymore? I think the people that don't haven't got caught up with the times.
Exactly. But interesting, Les Brown was the first person that came to mind. So we're on the same wavelength.
Right. So tell everybody about how could they find out more about Speakertunity and about you and how to get connected and everything.
Great. Thank you. So Speakertunity is the twice a month transformational speaker leads tip sheet. And what we do is provide speakers 40 tips a month on where they can book themselves for transformational speaking engagements all across North America. And that includes local chapters to everything from the chambers of commerce to women's organizations to civic organizations to holistic chambers of commerce and the international near-death experience, you know, all kinds of interesting organizations and conferences and conventions and associations and unity and spiritual living centers and retreats and resorts and bookstores and, you know, all kinds of different things that engage in welcome speakers. I just posted one from the South Bay Women's Business Association. So we look to connect people by offering them direct contacts in addition to submission links when they include that. And we do this not only twice a month, but we actually have a private Facebook group. So people, I'm putting the hottest, newest, coolest things into the Facebook group so people can jump on them right away. Speakertunity itself is timeless. There's all kinds of stuff in there that reoccurs, and you get to look up and find out when it's right for you. And here's what's really cool about this. It's only $25 a month. Or $265 a year if you want to pay in advance. And people just have to go to speakertunity.com. And they can find it and register and subscribe there. So, and I'm encouraging people, if you mention that you come through PSA, I'm going to give you a copy of 15 ways to find transformational speaking engagements. It's going to give you some tips over and above Speakertunity. So I would love to gift all of the viewers on this with that particular item that will enhance their ability to find other speaking engagements outside of the $40 a month that we give them, plus the Facebook page. So, and if anybody has any questions, they can reach out to the folks at speakertunity.com. That gets to me. The folks at speakertunity.com. So I'm really thrilled to talk to people about it and give them a little introduction to what we're trying to do and get them on the road to getting off their desk, the headache of doing the research. And that's really what we do. We get them to skip over that. It saves time, saves money, and saves lots of headaches. So.
Perfect. All right, so jump on that. And the Public Speaker Association has our monthly virtual summit, so you would want to jump in on that speaking opportunity. We also have our Fab How-Do-a-thon, which is our tip webinar series, so people can see you and get some really juicy tips from you. And everything has a lead generator involved, so we really want you to get involved with Speakertunity, get involved with Public Speaker Association, get yourself out there, get yourself known, and change lives and have a fun time doing it. So thank you, Jackie, for being on today. I definitely want you to come back soon.
Thank you, Tonya. It was a joy as always. You are a wonderful interviewer and a terrific friend.
Yay! All righty, everybody. So we'll be back shortly with another fabulous guest star. And please reach out, get connected to me. Remember, when you find me on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever, it's Tonya with an O, Hofmann with one F, two N's, because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell their last name right. So one F, two N's. Search for me, search for Jackie. We'd love to connect with you. So bye. Bye, Jackie. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Tonya.